So now I have another document. Let me go ahead and blow this up. And by the way, guys, if you're having problems seeing these documents, all you have to do is just go over to the settings and basically enlarge the fonts, right? And then this one is by, I can't even pronounce this name. Jesus Christ. Sangaz, Sangaz, we'll go with Sangaz. Basically, dear Judge Vitaliano, I represent the plaintiff Jennifer Hugh. In the above referenced action, I write in response to January 20th, 2022 letter from the counsel of Nicki Minaj, Mr. Jude Bernstein. At the outset, I want to respectfully apologize for having to seek your Honor's involvement. However, at this time, we have no other recourse. On October 18th, I submitted my notice of appearance in this action. Since appearing, Ms. Bernstein has emailed us a total of five purported and frivolous motions for sanctions. On Sunday, January 9th, Bernstein emailed us his fifth purported motion for sanction. This was one day before the plaintiff's reply in support of her motion to entry of a judicial default against OTM was due. I assure your Honor, this is the only tip of the iceberg. This is the only tip of the iceberg with respect to the unsavory, harassing, and threatening tactics that have been employed against the plaintiff's counsel. Under Rule 11, a court may sanction an attorney or party for, among other things, misrepresenting the facts or making frivolous arguments, right? Under Rule 11C2, the standard for triggering fees under the Rule 11 is objective unreasonableness, right? Then it goes on. Under Rule 11, where a court awards sanctions sua sponte, the standard is upon finding of a subjective bad faith, right? And then it says 28 USC 1927 penalizes an attorney for unreasonable and vexatious multiplying proceedings. Bad faith is the touchstone of an award under this statute. Then it goes on. An award under 1927 is proper when the attorney's sanctions are so completely without merit as to require the conclusion that they have been undertaken for some improper purpose, such as delay, internal citations, and quotations omitted. Mr. Bernstein's recent letter itself fails to demonstrate that anything signed, filed, submitted, or advocating by plaintiff counsel was frivolous, legally unreasonable, or factually without foundation. In fact, Mr. Bernstein does not even clearly state the grounds for which he seeks to file sanctions. He does not cite a single case in his letter, nor does he include any of the motions which purportedly details his grounds. Damn, so they coming after Mr. Bernstein, who's basically Nicki Minaj's lawyer, and they're basically saying he's just on some bullshit. So they're basically saying it's an intimidation tactic, and he's basically trying to bully. Let's see where this shit goes, which is especially egregious given the potential effects such serious accusations could have on the plaintiff and her counsel. More threats to harm the plaintiff because OTM's fans believe she is lying, and harm to counsel's reputation and business. If Mr. Bernstein is claiming that he is seeking grounds for accusations regarding OTM's membership in the Makbala Brims, I don't even know what that is, set of the blood gangs. Oh, Makbala Brims? Set of the blood gangs? Really? Man, that's a crazy ass gang name. I've never heard no shit like that. And OTM's supposed threats to the plaintiff's life. I believe your Honor would find an objectively reasonable basis for such allegations. I urge your Honor to view the Exhibit A. Here to a photo of OTM making the Makbala's gang sign. Uh-oh, they trying to say Nicki Minaj throwing up gang signs. And a still image video in which the defendant Petty KP making the same sign in a video, and previously filed Exhibit J to the Blackburn declarations in support of the motion for entry of judicial default. Damn, Nicki, you making gang signs? We gotta see Exhibit A. Makbala? Makbala? That's Makbala? I ain't never seen no, man. Look, man, they come up with new motherfucking games every motherfucking year. I remember when I was growing up. What did they have? I can't even keep up with the shit they got now. I remember they had some shit called MCs or Metric Cobras, Disciples, and that somehow from the MCs, I think they came up with some black. Don't let me fuck this up on Chicago gangs, because I'm pretty sure I'm gonna mess it up. But I know they had something called Black Keystone Rangers, And I can't even keep up with all this shit. You know, I was never really in the game. I was pretty much just that nerd on the side. But look, you know, they're claiming Nicki Minaj is throwing up Mac Baller gang signs. I don't know what this, you know what, I'm not even going to comment on this. I just want to hear what you guys think. Is this a Mac Baller gang sign? It still doesn't even feel like I'm pronouncing the name right. But they're showing photos of Kenneth Petty and Nicki Minaj doing these hand motions. I don't know what the fuck they is. I don't know what Mac Baller is. I don't know what any of this stuff is. You guys tell me. I'm relying on you. You tell me if this is a gang sign. I don't know. You know what I mean? I just don't even know. It looked like some shit that Tupac would throw up, but you know, they got this finger here curled back. You know, so it looks like a gang sign. It looked like what is that, the Crips gang sign? Damn, I done lost my place fucking with this shit. Yeah, so Mac Baller. I'm sorry, I've been fucking this up. Mac Baller Brims, which is a set of the Bloods. I thought that was a Crip sign. Anyway, Mac Baller Brims. Further, I directed to Your Honor Exhibit C of the plaintiff's declaration in support of the motion for entry of judicial default against KP. This exhibit is a photograph from Barry Dukes, aka Black. Oh damn. We don't even have Exhibit Z. Where he threatens the plaintiffs by circling 2 guns in the photograph. OTM swears under oath that Black was the individual who connected OTM with the plaintiff on the phone. OTM's declaration in opposing to the plaintiff's motion for the entry of default judgment against OTM, as Your Honor has personally stated, is necessary for sanctions under Rule 11. Neither of the plaintiff's aforementioned claims could be considered utterly frivolous or lacking merit at the time they were advanced. So this shit is interesting. So you got Bernstein saying, I'm going to, you know, file a motion for sanction because you guys are just on some bullshit. You're making all these crazy accusations. And then they're coming back and they say, nah, motherfucker, wait a minute. You everything we said was above board. Here are the photos. They throwing up Mac Baller motherfucking gang signs. So how the fuck you gonna sanction us? Huh? How you gonna sanction us when everything we said was above board? So you guys let me know what you think. Do you think there should be sanctions, or do you think that, you know, Mr. Bernstein need to go the fuck head on with all this bullshit he claiming, right? Do you think Nicki Minaj needs to withdraw this motion for sanction? Let's continue. While unclear, it appears that Mr. Bernstein is also stating that he is Bernstein is also stating that he is grounds for what the fuck? While it's unclear, it appears that Mr. Bernstein is also stating that he is grounds for sanctions. And no wonder I can't read this shit because they don't even know how to write. While it's unclear, it appears that Mr. Bernstein is also stating that he is grounds for sanctions based on the allegations that in the amended complaint that the court has personal jurisdiction over OTM. It is true that in purported sanctions motions dated November 5th, Mr. Bernstein alleged that the personal jurisdiction was frivolously alleged. Mr. Bernstein, however, did not provide evidence to support his statement until submitting OTM's opposition to the plaintiff's motion for entry of default judgment against OTM. Indeed, Bernstein is seeking that the court sanction plaintiff and our counsel for not believing his statement. Once evidence was provided on January 12, 2022, plaintiff voluntarily dismissed against OTM despite having her default. Further, as Ms. Bernstein carefully admits, such earlier motion was superseded and withdrawn by his attorney January 9th. Sanctions motion, plaintiff voluntarily dismissed, was squarely within the 21-day safe harbor period of Mr. Bernstein's later motion. Nonetheless, there are several objectively reasonable reasons why the allegation that this court has personal jurisdiction over OTM. First, as conceded by KP, her husband is a resident of New York. Second, her husband owns property in New York. Third, OTM is considered a New York-based rapper from Queens County. Fourth, this is not the first time that OTM has been sued in New York. There's these are only some of the reasons why it was objectively reasonable for Mr. Blackburn to believe that personal jurisdiction was proper in this court. Simply put, there's absolutely no reason upon which plaintiff or plaintiff's counsel could be held liable for sanctions under Rule 1128 U.S.C. 1927 or the court's inherent power. The sole purpose for Mr. Bernstein filing this letter and seeking a briefing schedule is stated in the letter. On January 20th, 2022, Mr. Bernstein learned for the first time that the plaintiff voluntarily dismissed the action against OTM to refile in California, where he has been arguing the case should have been filed in the first instance. Holy shit! So it looks like they're still going to come after Onika. They're still coming after her. They just going to California together. But you know, again, at this point, you know, I'm just going to throw it out there. I've already said it. I'm just going to say it again. I think I was wrong on a lot of these things, and I'm not sure it makes sense to continuously go after Nicki Minaj. You guys, let me know what you think. Do you think they need to just drop Nicki Minaj and just focus on getting petty? Do you think they need to just drop all this shit and just move on with their life? You guys let me know at this point, right? Because I'm already admitting I was wrong, right? So anyway, as a young attorney, I never could have fathomed the type of harassment and threats that Mr. Bernstein has employed. Shit, it looks like they're gonna go after sanctions for Nicki Minaj's attorney. Anyway, as a young attorney, I never could have fathomed the type of harassment and threats that Mr. Bernstein has employed upon me personally. He has engaged in an obsessive pattern of ad hominem. I can't even pronounce ad hominem attacks against my co-counsel, and what the fuck does that mean? Ad hominem. Hominem. Let me see if I can look that shit up. Hominem. Let me see what this shit means. Appealing to feelings of prejudice rather than intellect. Why they gotta use those big ass words? Shit we ain't never heard before. So anyway, you got a new word, ad hominem, right? Appealing to emotion. What is this? Appealing to feelings or prejudice rather than intellect. Okay, all right, whatever. Attacks against my counsel and I, and even my wife, to gain an advantage in this litigation. Mr. Bernstein baselessly attempted to threaten that my wife had waived our marital communication privileges, insinuating that he would seek to invade one of the most private relationships in my life. Accordingly, my family's safety and privacy, I was almost forced to withdraw from this action. Damn. Hey, they trying to say Mr. Bernstein is a motherfucking tyrant. Shit, they trying to say he a motherfucking gangster. Finally, in sum, Mr. Bernstein's letter is completely frivolous and undoubtedly filed with the subjective bad faith. Mr. Bernstein's purpose, and he succeed, was delay plaintiff's counsel from preparing plaintiff's complaint, which is soon to be filed against OTM in California. Damn, they still going after Nicki and Cali. And to vexatiously and unreasonably multiply proceedings, there is only one counsel who deserves to be sanctioned, and he does not represent the plaintiff. Damn, so now I don't know. It looks like they're about to go after Mr. Bernstein, but they probably won't. But essentially, from what I'm getting from this letter, is that they're saying that Nicki Minaj's lawyer is just full of shit, and he's using intimidation tactics to overwhelm the plaintiff and to basically put fear in their hearts. You guys let me know what you think, right? So this is as of January 21st, right? So moving on, let's get caught up. Let's get caught up on this case, right? And then we have another letter, and this one is from Bernstein, right? This is from Bernstein. Dear Judge Vitaliano, I am in receipt of Mr. Gordon's January 21st, 2022 letter in response. Unless the court would like me to do so, I am not going to respond to multiple outrageous, demonstrably false accusations he has made against me. Man, these motherfuckers acting like kids. The letter which I filed yesterday only asks the court, as required by your Honor's individual motion practice and rules, to set forth a briefing schedule for a motion which my client has a right to bring, even if Mrs. Gordon believes it is to be meritless. Mr. Gordon's effort to bar me from filing sanctions motion primarily pursuant to 28 U.S.C. 1927 in the court's inherent power is itself frivolous. As I have told him, if he reads my motions after I served it and he concludes that it is frivolous or otherwise improper, he has every right to seek sanctions against me, and I will cooperate in a setting, brief, and schedule for a motion. Since Mr. Gordon's letter does not address my briefing schedule, I request that Your Honor order the schedule set forth in my January 2022 letter. Mrs. Minaj will serve her motion on January 26. Plaintiff and her counsel will serve their answer to the motion on February 9th. Mrs. Minaj will serve her reply and file the bundle papers on February 25th. So damn, they trying to go forward with these sanctions. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Let's get